action-packed episode of One Piece, the top executives of Doflamingo's family are gonna do battle with the fighters from Corrida Colosseum. The Tontada tribe decide to save their friends from the Sad Factory, and Luffy is this much closer to kicking Doflamingo's pink boa ass. My favorite thing about this week's episode is that it actually focused on the side characters from Corrida Colosseum and Doflamingo's family. They're all weird, ridiculous, disproportionate, muscle-bound badasses, and watching them fight is a real joy. Dellinger vs. Suleiman is a great demonstration of Dellinger's abilities. I love the way they animate his movement. He's incredibly fast. I especially just love his ridiculous design. The high heels, the horns. But what's really cool is those horns are actually useful in battle. He actually uses his momentum and his speed and uses that as a springboard to launch himself into his opponents. Think of Frieza attacking Krillin during the Namek Saga. I always love watching Lao G. To me, he seems like an extreme Sesame Street character because he's obsessed with a letter, and he always just has to say things that have the letter G in it and combine that with his attacks. He's fighting against Orlumbus this week and basically just kicking the ever-living shit out of him. Donquixote is able to take out a few people on a mountainside, but unfortunately Gladius has put bombs all over the place, and he's constantly running into all of them. Gladius probably, I think, has the coolest design of the entire group. Not to mention, there's also Vice, who I still think is like an extreme caricature of Mario when he gets the raccoon leaf or when he gets the Tanuki suit, just because he's big, fat, and he flies around. It just reminds me of that for some reason. Of all the members of Doflamingo's family, though, I think my favorite is Baby 5. I just love her overall design. I love her powers more than anything, though, and I love the way they animate them, how, like, just the top half of her body is actually just turned into this massive cannon, but everything else below still looks normal. It's ridiculous and weird, but it totally flies in the world of One Piece. In the first half of the episode, all the fighters from Corrida Colosseum are getting beaten back, but by the end of the episode, they are dominating. I especially love how they showed that because they're sort of fighting in the darkness and they're all glowing golden, showing how awesome they are. And thanks to Dogma, who is a war tactician, he's made it so that they're all going to be working together in the battle so that Luffy can go forward and go up against Doflamingo. The scene where Luffy got a ride with Cavendish was funny because all of a sudden Kyros just hopped aboard out of nowhere. He was like a freaking ninja during that scene. And Kyros is just so freaking awesome. I just love everything about this character. He's getting ready to get his revenge against Diamante, and that's going to be really awesome. Other big part about this episode is the deal with the Tontada tribe. They're trying to save their friends from the Sad Factory, and they're spelling out everything by writing on these big pink bees and spelling it out in letters outside, telling them to unlock the door. The Tontada decide to fight back and basically just beat the living crap out of Doflamingo's goons, which again is a testament to their abilities. They're really awesome, and I love all of their individual designs. They have so many different quirks to them. I mean, there's the one that looks like Frankenstein, the one with the afro. It's ridiculous. Other things to take away from this episode is that there's a few scenes where the citizens of Dressrosa are banding together and stopping each other from killing each other thanks to Doflamingo's strings. There's also a scene where Kinemon is this much closer to finding his friend Kanjuro, but we're going to have to wait for another episode to see that. So what's the rundown? On this week's episode of One Piece, the fighters of Corrida Colosseum are going to be some of the most memorable characters from this entire arc. Whenever I think of Dressrosa, these guys are going to pop into my head. This episode really solidified that fact. There were a lot of cool scenes this week, and there was some pretty decent animation in some of the fighting. In particular, during the Dellinger scenes and that one scene at the end when they were all doing like their big attacks, all shrouded in gold power. I thought that was pretty freaking awesome. The scene at the end that just really got me, though, was when Kyros just hopped aboard on Cavendish's horse. I just thought that was really, really funny. I almost thought, like, maybe they forgot to add in Kyros, like, jumping on, but no, they, like, actually addressed that. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? So it's really funny. I mean, they're all sort of, like, headed in the same direction anyway, so it works out. And, of course, Law is still with him, but, you know, he's just doing what Law does, which is mostly just staying quiet, biding his time, until he does something really awesome and badass. Otherwise, all the stuff with the Tontada tribe was pretty interesting, but definitely not my favorite part of the episode. You guys know that I'm an action guy, so I was loving all the fighting in this week's episode from the other members of the Doflamingo crime family. I just love all of them. Their designs are so unique, their powers are crazy. Gladius is one that I really can't wait to see. He's going to have some big battles coming up soon. They're all going to have something really cool to do soon. And I also love the fact that they hinted about something about Dellinger, which I don't want to give away quite yet, but something's not quite normal about him, and it has something to do with his horns. That's all I'm going to say about Dellinger. What I will say is this week's episode was pretty good. It was fun. It was action-packed. Had some funny moments. The Tontada Tribe guys are cool, and I cannot wait to see more of the coming battles. Not to mention, they're still building up something with Bellamy the hyena that's going to play an important part later on. But we're just going to have to watch and see and find out. What I will say is this was a pretty solid episode of One Piece right here that I think is actually pretty memorable. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I loved it. It was awesome. But how did you guys feel about this week's episode of One Piece? What did you think of the action scenes? Do you have a favorite fighter from Corrida Colosseum? A favorite member of the Doflamingo crime family? What do you want to see from the rest of the Dressrosa arc and One Piece? Please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so you can see all of our latest manga and anime reviews. And I am reviewing a lot of anime right now, so make sure to check out the channel and see all the latest releases. Just to name a few shows, I'm reviewing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders, Assassination Classroom, Seraph of the End, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, Blood Blockade Battlefront, Arslan Senki, Naruto Shippuden, and Ninja Slayer, just to name a few. So make sure to check those out and help support Super Kami Guru 9000. And make sure to also follow us on social media. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.